Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan here. Got a message from a reporter a few minutes ago that wants to interview me and talk to me about the Texas shooting. So I'm getting ready, but thought I would go live real quick. So what she wants to talk about is what kind of gun laws I think would actually stop a shooting or incident like this from ever happening. So I thought maybe before I do this interview, maybe it would be advantageous. What's up, Steph?
Well, I did an advantageous thing and I sent
What'd you do?
a text
Who'd you send the text to?
to this lady.
The reporter? Mm-hmm. And what was the text?
So what they actually were wondering, they said.
Hey, don't move my lights. What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, Ryan.
My gosh.
They said, is there anything in place that allows a seller to not sell something to someone? Could the person who sold these guns to the shooter in Texas have opted out? And I said, yeah, every dealer has the right to refuse sale. And then I said, in fact, the Pulse nightclub shooter was denied sale when he tried to, and then I sent her the article. And she goes, oh, wow, okay, thanks. She said, I'm going to start pitching this to the producers and get back to you. So then I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm just going to send this text to you. Do you want me to read it? It's kind of long.
Yeah, read it.
Okay, so this is what I said. Understand that the bad guys, the mentally ill, and the criminals do not follow laws. Only sane, law-abiding citizens do. We've made laws after almost every school shooting, and it has not changed a thing because bad people are intent on hurting others, and they don't follow the laws. We protect our government buildings and our officials with secure areas, armed guards, and metal detectors. We protect our sporting events, our theme parks, and our large venues with metal detectors. And we use to protect our children a sign that says gun-free zone, or some law in a book that nobody sees or follows. I said, we need to address the real problem in this country, which is mental health. We need to start taking action by funding programs for families that see signs of mental illness and erratic behavior in their children. We need more help funding programs to stop bullying, since almost every single school shooter was at some point bullied. We need laws that say that the school shooter can't be named or shown on TV.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
And the NRA has actually, I believe, been fighting to pass this for a very long time, and it keeps getting shot down because the truth is, as much as everybody complains that they actually want a solution to this problem,
Yeah.
I don't think people actually want a solution to this problem. I think they just want to talk. But I don't think people actually care about a real solution.
Well, and that's why I sent this, because I wanted to see. So then I said, they're doing these heinous acts because they want the publicity, right? They want to be famous for good or bad reasons. So let's stop giving them what they want. If we could finally understand that it is not the weapon, but the mind, we could actually get somewhere.
I got to put this in a tripod because my hand is freaking killing me.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at how ridiculous I look in my kind of sleep outfit with my hair not done and I look terrible.
Okay, keep going.
But so then I said, there is a saying, one mind, many weapons. If someone is intent on hurting others, they will jump in a truck and drive through a crowd or put together a bomb out of firecrackers like the Boston bombers.
Whoa. You shouldn't be saying that stuff.
I'm just saying, though. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I said there's lots of things that are going to make a difference in this country, but it is not another gun control law. And then I just said, just something to think about. Nobody covers that. So they just resort to more laws.
Yeah, it's like they want the easy way, right? And the easy way is, we pass. It's kind of like Biden's ghost gun bill, right? Like, we're going to pass this bill that outlaws ghost guns, but it's going to do zero to reducing gun crime.
It's like a useless, stupid another thing. And that's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like, why don't we look at the stuff that you've already passed and you've already promised that this was going to make a difference, this was going to change things?
Which there's a lot of them, right? So we look at the National Firearms Act, 1934, Gun Control Act in 1968, FOIPA, 1986, the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act in 92. All of these laws were passed on a federal level with the promise that they were going to like rapidly decrease gun violence across America. And they accomplished nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing that they did was make it more and more difficult for law-abiding gun owners to just own guns.
And we're not the bad guys.
Exactly.
So you're attempting to get, there's all these laws in place that do nothing, but nobody's getting the root problem, right? And that is mental illness. All of these people are mentally ill. All of these people have had signs of being mentally ill and all these things. Why are we not getting them help? Why are we not, teaching them how, as they're young adolescents, how to deal with these feelings and how
locking them up.
Or locking them up.
Let's go in there so we can sit down.
Yeah,
if you guys remember, do you remember, Tiff, that guy here in Tampa who was driving his car and he just ran over? Come sit over here.
Yeah, I know.
Just ran over the dad and his 2-year-old son as they were riding their bike or whatever.
But his family tried to get him help for years.
They tried to put him in a mental institution for years.
Yeah.
And the state of Florida would not take him. So it was really fascinating that now that he murdered 2 people, now they're like, oh yeah, we need to get him off the streets.
Right.
Those parents, they knew from a very young age, there's something severely wrong with my son. And that's exactly what happened too with the Sandy Hook shooting, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Sandy Hook shooter, there were more signs with the Sandy Hook shooter than any other shooting in history. Just so you guys, just a refresher here, because you probably already know this, but this kid lived in his house with his mom. Mm-hmm. He did not speak to his mother for, I believe, a year.
Only through email,
but he lived in the same house. He had trash bags over his windows so no light would come in. And then he had pictures pictures that he had printed from the internet of famous serial killers. Yeah. So you're a freaking psycho, man.
Yeah,
you're a psycho.
No way that kid would live in my house. I mean, they would be handled, right? Because
But again, that mother, the Sandy Hook shooter, if I remember correctly, she tried to put him into a mental institution and they would not take him. So we have to empower parents. Parents know, right?
Yeah.
You're around this kid all the time. They know there's something severely wrong.
Yeah.
If the parent is saying, listen, my kid is not safe to be in the public, then that kid needs to get heavily evaluated and they need to get put somewhere.
Columbine was the same thing.
Were they?
They knew, yes. And also Parkland shooter. They had called in about...
Yeah, so Parkland, there was 24 or something like that, 911 calls to his house. Yeah. He slit his wrist or something. Yes, it was just a lot of crazy stuff.
All of them had lots of signs, lots of ample things, but for some reason we think that,
So Shane, if you're talking about the Sandy Hook shooting, the Sandy Hook shooter murdered his mother and stole the guns out of the gun safe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like she bought the guns for him.
No.
The guns were locked up and he murdered his mother to take them.
Yes.
So again, this goes back to this debate which everybody's talking about right now, right? Which is guns need to be locked up. They need to be kept away from children. We need to pass laws of how you're going to have guns inside of your house. Well, none of that works if your kid is going to murder you and then take everything that's in the gun
and this
safe.
guy, I don't know exactly, but this guy also murdered his grandmother before he went to the...
This guy?
Yeah.
The shooter in Texas?
Yes. Yeah, he shot his grandma first.
Because she probably tried to stop him?
They don't know yet, but I'm sure she either tried to stop him or she was the only person that was, trying to help him and stuff, and he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. And that's what I was trying to explain to this lady, that guess what? If somebody is intent, it's just it would be like I'm threatening to kill myself. You can't take away everything. You can't take away all the knives, all the, you can try.
Well, look at that lady here in Valrico. She committed suicide just by wandering into a lake and getting eaten by an alligator.
Going into a pond. And that's what I'm saying. If I'm intent on hurting myself, I will use a lamp cord. I will use anything, right?
Yeah.
If I'm intent on it. And that's what people are not understanding. That if these people are intent on hurting others, they will find a way, and there is not a way that we can stop that person besides seeing the signs, locking them up beforehand, or getting them help, and hopefully being able to help these young kids before stuff happens.
Yeah, and you guys tell me in the comments, what is if there was a real solution to stopping situations like this, what is the solution? I'm so happy my state doesn't have red flag laws. Republican House, they are against red flag laws. Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for red flag laws. I think red flag laws, if we look at the Parkland shooting, Nicholas Cruz was a perfect example of somebody that needed to get red flagged, okay? So there's nothing like, I think this is where gun owners get very myopic, very limited in their belief system, is that they think that these things are bad when they can be good or they can be bad. It's kind of like money, right? Having lots of money can be a very good thing. It can also be a very bad thing. This is going to piss a lot of people off, but I frankly don't care.
It is going to piss a lot of people off.
I don't care. I'm just going to explain it. So Nicholas Cruz should have been red flagged and his guns should have been taken away. The negative of red flag laws is how they are being abused by our political leaders. So they're not using it in the correct way. The correct way is you see somebody who is clearly a threat to society. There's a lot of evidence, overwhelming evidence. They should not have access to weapons, right? And I think any logical, sane person would agree with that. Would agree with that. It's just the way it is. However, somebody who, there was one case in Tampa where a guy got red flagged because he was telling his neighbor, you need to pick up your dog crap and not leave it in the grass. And she called 911, said he's stalking her or whatever, and he got red flagged. Yeah. That's an abuse of power, okay? So anyway, yeah, I'm against red flag laws being abused, but there's a time and a place for it, right? It's kind of like this debate. People say we need to outlaw the red flag laws are unconstitutional. Okay, but the Supreme Court has said otherwise. The Supreme Court has said that they are not unconstitutional because it's already gone to the Supreme Court or the appellate courts, at least in Florida, and they've said that, and they don't all skip due process. It's important for you to understand that too. So there's two different ways to do a red flag law. You can do one following due process, or you can do a temporary ex parte risk protection order, which is where they skip due process. So again, like you're not telling the whole story here, right? There's a time and a place. There are people that are so dangerous to society. Okay, let's look at the Boston bombing suspects, right? If we had information knowing that they are crazy, dangerous people, wouldn't you agree we should take their guns away? Wouldn't you agree we should be watching those individuals because they are freaking dangerous? The answer is yes.
Yeah, and there's lots of people on the terrorist watch list. And we need to be able to stop those people when those signs are there. But we can't say the sign is, he's yelling at his wife. I heard him yelling at his wife, and I know that he has guns. So, big deal. That's not a reason.
Yeah, what pisses me off about the red flag laws, if you read in my book, Florida Conceal Carry Law, I list down all the different things that could get you red flagged. And one of the things that can get you red flagged in Florida is the recent purchase of a firearm. Okay, well, that's freaking idiotic.
Everybody would be on that list.
Yeah, that's idiotic, right? So that should never be on the list, right? Somebody threatening at work, I am going to come here. So we had a student in our class who's a human resources person or whatever. She fired an employee, and then the employee sent her a text message and basically said, I'm coming to your office and I'm bringing the fire or whatever, and then sent a picture of him on the freeway, like driving to her office. Okay, so somebody who's making threats like that to somebody, maybe that's when they need to get red flagged and something needs to happen because you are threatening the safety of others. Right. Somebody who gets into a fist fight, you can get red flagged for getting into a fist fight. That is not a good reason to take somebody's guns away.
No, but that guy that messaged us and said he was going to kill all of our kids and...
Yeah, so do you guys remember that? I know I talked about it back in the day. That was a year ago, right?
It was more than a year ago.
It was in January of 2020 or something. Yeah. A guy sent us a message on Facebook and said, Ryan, I'm going to murder you and I'm going to murder your family. So me being the smart ass that I am, I said, okay, how are you going to do it? Because I'm thinking, let's get him to post all this stuff on Facebook. I'm going to screenshot it all, and we're going to use this as evidence to get him red flagged, to get him arrested and get his guns and his rights taken away because you are clearly an extremely dangerous person. Turns out the police don't care about this kind of stuff. The police refuse to come and write a report. They refuse to even do anything.
He, in detail, told us how he was going to, like, cut our kids' heads off.
Yeah. Yeah. And the police refuse to do anything. So, again, it's hilarious to me how the police, these politicians and all this stuff say, I heard this cop the other day, he's like, people shouldn't be doing stuff on their own. They should let the police do their job. You don't do your job. I'm a big supporter of law enforcement, right? But so many times, time and time again, law enforcement has let me down.
Yeah.
When they're supposed to be protecting me, they let me down and they don't do anything.
Those gang members that
were... gang members threatening to kill me, people dealing crack outside of our business. Like, so many times, that homeless guy.
The problem is so bad that we don't bother.
No, with the drug thing, they said, you have to stop calling us about these drug dealers. I said, why? And they said, the drug problem is so rampant in South Tampa, there's nothing we can do. Yeah. And I was like, isn't this your job? Yeah. Like, I'm confused at what your job is, sir.
Because if it's rampant, wouldn't cleaning out these people and arresting them work or get rid of it? Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need a law to tell on somebody acting dangerous to themselves or others. Actually, we do, Chris Savage. We do need a law to do that because people are stupid and people are dangerous. Well, this
is the thing, though, that people don't just do something. People don't just murder someone. I mean, most people, right? It's a building effect. So if you start seeing, it's like when your kids start doing stuff bad in school. What do? You don't step in. You don't start, saying, hey, we'll get you a tutor. No, you step in to help the problem. So if you start seeing a problem with a teenager being bullied, acting out, writing kill lists, like all these kids had these lists of people that they were going to, kill first. So if we're not going to step in when these kids are doing this, you're saying just wait and see what happens and then deal with them after the fact? Because I think that that's totally wrong. And I think that when we see signs of mental illness, when we see signs that somebody is psychotic and wants to hurt themselves or others, that there needs to be an intervention to happen. And we need to have, things happen. So, I don't know.
Mercedes agrees.
Mercedes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get one agreement here.
Okay, so What's Up said, police said this 18-year-old Savage had no mental illness on his record. Okay, so nothing would have stopped it. Okay, makes sense.
And sometimes that happens.
I've been saying for years that every school should have 1 to 2 full-time marshals. Yeah, I 100% agree, man.
There should be lockdowns, too.
I find it super comical how parents say that they want a solution to this problem, but then it was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or whatever. It was right at the beginning of the school year here in Florida. And the teachers in Hillsborough County, or the school administrators or whatever, they showed all the kids a video of like what to do during an active shooting. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. And parents in Hillsborough County
got upset,
freaked out. How dare you talk to our kids about this? You're scaring them, blah, blah, blah. Hold on a second. I thought you guys said you want to do something to reduce or prevent school shootings. But now we're trying to do something to reduce and prevent school shootings, and you say you don't want it. So you got to pick a freaking lane here, right?
Kids know, and they need to understand, like, if something happens. And I don't understand why every single school doesn't have, like you said, those magnetic doors.
Yeah, so what I was telling Tiff, what would make a lot of sense is you just have an emergency button. We had this in the military. You have magnetically locked doors. Every door was a magnetically locked, so you couldn't open it unless you put your code in. Mm-hmm. And then if something happened, you flip a switch, and the entire building is locked down. Every door, everything, right? So now this shooter is trapped in one little area wherever they're at. Mm-hmm. It's an entry control point. There's one way in, one way out. There's multiple barriers to get to where you're at. Mm-hmm.
There's things that we can do to secure our schools that we just don't.
There's a lot of things, but they don't want to do it.
Metal detectors aren't even that big of a deal. There should be metal detectors in every, we have them at theme parks, we have them at sporting events, we have them at government buildings.
And nobody's concerned about putting your children through a metal detector when they go to the state fair.
Right.
Nobody thinks that you're putting them in a prison type atmosphere, right? It's just part of the process. Mm-hmm. We can make that part of the process at a school. What does it really matter? Yeah. I would rather that and know that my children are safe. I went to my kid's school yesterday, or Paisley School, and they've got the magnetic security door to kind of buzz in. You got to show your ID, or they just recognize you, right? Because it's a small school. But a kid had just opened the door for me and held the door open. okay, so I get that you're trying to be nice, but you just allowed me to come in, right? Which is very foolish. So what's up says, I got a ballistic plate.
That's Todd.
Todd, okay, cool. So I got a ballistic plate with my daughter, keeps in the backpack, so God forbid. Okay,
Yeah,
Todd, I think
I've
that's
seen
smart.
those, yeah. So that's very good about the call. Yeah, I never saw that, but it's true. If Biden's son or daughter was in a school, it would not be that easy to get into, and that's the thing.
Say it again?
He said if Biden's school were in elementary,
shit.
do you think
That
it would
place
be
would
that
be-
easy to get in?
That place would be locked freaking down.
Why are your children protected differently?
Because
and why are their lives more valuable than these young kids?
Because they're the elites, that's why. We're the disposable people, apparently.
Yeah. So, it's sad. I just want to say, though, that, like, yesterday, I probably cried, like, 10 times.
I had to tell her, stop looking at these pictures because it's just making you
know
too
what?
upset.
These little kids, like, it just really made me think. I think it's because Jax is 8 and Lincoln's 10. Oh, I'm going to cry now. And I just kept thinking, like, of them, being in that situation, how terrified they were, and then being injured, shot, laying on the floor, alone, scared, bleeding out, thinking like, is this the last time I'm going to see my family? It's just such a hard thing to think about. And I can't even, I'm so disappointed in like humanity that there's even people like this that just want to do harm like this. And those teachers, the one that laid on top of the kids to protect them, I mean, it's just to think about it, if you can just like close your eyes and picture being in that room and the smell and everything that's going on.
Okay, stop, Tess. Move on.
I'm just saying, though.
Okay.
We absolutely need to do something different because what we are doing is not working.
Yeah. I'm going to say something else that's going to piss a lot of people off. You guys ready?
Oh, gosh.
I say this every time something like this happens, and it just pisses people off.
Oh, gosh.
Tinkerer says we shouldn't be so easily sacrificed. One life is too many. That's the big talking point right now, right? Is people are like, we got to protect our children. One child's life is too many. Then stop murdering children. So Planned Parenthood is literally murdering 250,000 children every year. Last time I checked. I don't know what the number is right now. 250,000 children, okay? Murdered. And if we look at school shootings, it accounts for less than 200. So yes, 200 is too many. One is too many. But we need to stop thinking it's okay to murder children over here because we call it a woman's right to choose. They just frame it as this nicer thing, right?
Well, now, I mean, they're saying at 9 months even. So that's...
Again, you're a psychopath. You're a psycho, okay? That's just it. So again, the same people that say it's okay to murder your child after they come out of the womb, you look at it and decide, hey, I don't like you and I'm just going to kill you, are the same people marching and saying, we have to protect our children. One life lost is too many. Pick one, bro. Like, you can't believe both. You can't believe that you want to stop school shootings and believe that it's okay to murder children and that abortion is okay. You can't. You got to pick one or the other.
I agree with you. But
so anyway,
like I said, I just think that I'm so tired of hearing like the same solution over and over. Gun laws. Nobody has brought up any of these other points about the mental illness, the school security, none of that, and it just drives me insane.
Yep. So anyway,
all right.
To be honest, you probably screwed up this interview by saying all that stuff.
I don't care.
I don't normally do that. I normally just say, sure, let's just get on a call and we'll just talk on the call. But if you provide too much information like that, too much of your stance, I think it scares people off.
I don't care. We don't need another interview, Rye.
I know.
Like,
it's fine.
I'm just trying to give them something to think about because I feel like everybody is like this. Gun law, gun law, gun law. Gun law, gun law, gun law.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be like, hey, there's other things. Because what we are doing is not working and we keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Passing more gun laws
result.
does not fix anything. Okay, so Hart says, in truth, mass shootings account for only a small percentage of gun deaths in the United States. Yep. Rather, nearly 2/3 of gun deaths were suicides. Yep, out of the 40,000. Yep. So there's only about 11,000 people that are actually murdered every year, roughly, from murdered in general in the United States, okay? And of that, most of them are murdered with a handgun, okay? And then it comes down to like knives, hammers, stuff like that.
Yeah, but if you take away
objects.
the handgun, then the hammer goes up, the knife goes up. You're still going to have 11,000 deaths. It's just going to be with a different weapon.
Sure.
And that's what these people need to understand.
What was fascinating, I was doing some research on the state of Florida's violent crime because the Uniform Crime Report for Florida came out recently, so I was kind of going through it. Most of the people that were victims of aggravated assault, which is like a violent beating, rape, murder, like all the violent crimes, right? Most of the attackers did not have a firearm, which I found to be really interesting. So out of, I don't remember the number, but out of all the rapes, murders, manslaughters, aggravated batteries, most people did not have a weapon. Which
look at that guy with the lady sitting at the bus stop. I mean, he literally took off his shoe. He was sitting there with her and he took off his shoelace and then just wrapped it around her neck.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're trying to get through to these politicians, through their head. Like, guess what? You can take away one weapon, they're just going to use another one. They're just going to find another way. So let's deal with the root problem instead of just trying to take away guns, because it is not working. It never has worked and it never will work.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and be safe.
Yes. Pencils.